Christians say this procession has been taking place along this path for 180 years in the hills near Bethlehem. But next year, they may be stopped in their tracks if Israel continues its planned path for this massive security barrier. The thick concrete wall being erected in Beit Jala, a predominantly Palestinian Christian town, is supposed to snake through the land of more than 50 families, as well as separate a monastery from a convent.
The wall, it's written on it one thing: Christians leave from this land. This is what Israeli authority needs us to do. Just leave from this land. This land is not yours. This land is for the Jewish people.
George Abouiyed says if the wall is completed, his family will have to obtain permission from Israel to access their own land and olive trees. So will more than 50 other Palestinian families. Israel says the wall is being built for one purpose and one purpose only: security.
It's important to remember that before the waves of terror took over over 1,000 Israeli lives, there was simply no need for a security barrier. And since that barrier has gone up, Israelis can go back to living their normal lives again.
In 2000, during the Second Intifada's intense clashes, militants used Beit Jala as a base to launch sniper attacks on a nearby Jewish settlement called Gilo. The Israeli military responded. The wall would essentially wrap around another Jewish settlement called Har Gilo.
The real reason of the wall is to take most of the Palestinian land and to put together two colonies, the colony of Gilo and Har Gilo. It's not a security reason.
The international community considers Israeli settlements in the West Bank illegal under international law, something Israel disputes. In the holiest places for Christians, the Christian population is steadily shrinking. Father Shomali contends his flock is another part of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. He and his parishioners argue the ever-growing wall is a crude attempt by Israel to keep a Palestinian state from forming by building borders that make it impossible to stitch a state together. Israeli officials counter that claim, saying the wall has proven effective against terrorist attacks, which the government says are down by more than 90%. And in any case,
every inch of the fence is open to appeal and judicial review, and in many cases, parts of the barrier have already been moved based on successful appeals from Palestinians.
The Beit Jala families have appealed to the courts. So far, they have secured a stop order. The final decision is still pending in court. If they lose the court case, the Christians who have lived here for generations are hoping for help from another quarter. On Fridays, they gather between the olive trees on the land they are fighting for, praying for divine intervention. Sarah Seidner, CNN.